Hello, I'm the official name rater. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today, we're looking at Tadbulb and Bellibolt, and I'm really excited for the words A tier. I'm not looking at it, I don't want to see what it says, but you're setting up expectations for me, and I want to see if you can live up to them. I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this operating system that he has, where he's like, I rank him based off tiers, might use AI, and I don't know, I thought I'd lay the ground rules. So firstly, this guy puts Tomata as S tier, which, as a Portuguese speaker, we do have a rule on this channel. Foreign-based nicknames are not okay because naming your Pokemon outlet makes you look like a dumb, stupid piece of shit. I don't care if it's Portuguese. I speak Portuguese. I look at that and I say, you're a dumb fuck. Mr. Toad, Slippy, Rashid's Pimple, those are actually good. Gaging Bolt, that sounds like a Gaging Bolt, Raging Bolt. It's just an alternative. Rashid's Pimple I actually really like. I feel like we've talked about this before. Slippy I know we've seen before. Mr. Toad I don't think we have. That does not sound familiar, but I mean we've seen Mr. Owl, so I guess it makes sense. I'm trying to think what other frog Pokemon there are. The first one that comes to mind is Toxicroak and Politoed. But I feel like there's something else, because I don't feel like in either one of those, maybe Battletoad was probably in the Toxicroak episode. Regardless, those ones I actually like. Michigan, as in Michigan J-Frog. What the fuck is a Michigan J-Frog? Hold up. He has a name? You know what? I was gonna hate on it, but the fact that I know who that is, well, I can't. I will still mildly hate on it just because, I don't know, it's a weird thing where it's like, location-based nicknames are okay, but just seeing a frog named Michigan and then going to that, I don't know, it just feels weird. I don't know how many people actually know that that thing has a name, because I didn't. I certainly didn't know it was named Michigan, but I'll go ahead and acknowledge it anyway. Kermit is aptly a C tier. That was one we see in pretty much every single frog episode. I get it, but to me it's just kind of too on the nose for my tastes. It's just not one I particularly care about. The only other one in the C tier I kind of want to acknowledge, which, I mean, it's not technically the same, because I've used 9V for, I think it's Jolteon, and I like the name. I think it's nice, but I think putting 9V is not quite the same length. For me, my inspiration was WarioWare. I don't know, it just sounds good to me, but also 9V batteries. D tier, I think, is a little harsh, because AC/DC is a great name. Absolutely love that. Rock Band, that is one I use on my Electivire, because that one is admittedly something I stole from Prince Boo, but I don't know. I just think it's fine. I can understand how you could feel it wouldn't fit Bellibolt that much, but it's not a bad name. Yellow Belly I actually don't mind. I think that one's different and unique. Like, I've not seen that one before, so props to that one. I can understand not wanting to use it, because I probably wouldn't, but I mean, at least for creativity's sake, I think it's worth highlighting. And then, just for the sake of it, we'll highlight Pepe Frog. Surprisingly, this is the first time we've seen Pepe Frog mentioned in an episode of Name Rater, considering memes often crop up. So these are all very strange choices for a Bellibolt, and Gordo is not a bad name, but I'm not sure what this is in reference to. I have my Ferrothorn named Gordo based off the Kirby enemy, so I understand that correlation. This correlation I don't know at all. I don't know why it's top choice, I don't know what's in reference to. But I use Gordo. Everything else on here I don't feel like fits at all. Like, Cheyenne to me is the next most interesting, but that goes partly location-based nicknames and partly just the name of a generic bitch, though I don't feel like I've seen too many Cheyennes. Like, I remember a few. It seemed like they were everywhere when I was like 15, and then they just stopped existing. Flubber or Jello, we saw that before in the Ditto episode, and that's one that I kind of commonly associate with it. It's there, but it's never been a high opinion of mine. Hypnotoad we see every now and again. Gonna be honest, I feel like if we were to pick something, Politoed is gonna fit better, because that at least has Hypnosis. And Poliwrath, has the swirl, which you could turn in with Hypnosis. So, although that one's kind of memey and I don't really care for it, I feel like it'd be better on something that leans into that thematic a bit better. I like Gordo because it's Portuguese for fat. This is true, but naming your Pokemon fat is not a good name. That sounds like something a 6-year-old comes up with. Gordo likes Slime Rancher. Who knows what it's actually in reference to? Wait, is the Mr. Frog thing in reference to Smiling Friends, or is this predate Smiling Friends? It says January 10th, 22. This says October 14th, 22. So I guess it is in reference to Smiling Friends. Gonna be honest, didn't draw that connection, but I guess I see it now. I don't know if Chef Kawasaki will fit, but I feel like naming it Chef Kawasaki is gonna be better than just naming it Chef. And I also feel like maybe putting that on like Alcremie is a better choice than Bellibolt. I don't normally do this, but Tadbulb has a nice sound to it. I wouldn't use it, but for a very simple nickname, it at least rolls off the tongue kind of well. Clyde Frog after Eric Cartman's Stuffed Frog. Notice how they put Clyde Frog, as in both names, and not just Clyde. So thank you for doing that, because guess what? You have the character limit for it. Also, we've never seen that before. It's actually kind of weird how many new frog nicknames we're seeing for Bellibolt that we've not seen on other frog Pokemon. I want to highlight Bellibolts for creativity. But again, I feel like the problem we're finding with this episode is we're seeing nicknames that aren't necessarily bad, but significantly better on any other Pokemon. Like, Bellibolts is like a nice pun if like Grimmsnarl was an electric type, then yeah, you could totally make that joke. But what the fuck does that have to do with a frog? Well, since I stumbled across it, it's only law that I have to acknowledge it. The most overused, overrated name in all of Pokemon, the only thing to ever outdo mythical gods, Tesla. If you want to use a nickname that every single human has ever thought of before and for some reason fucking used, don't know why, Tesla is the one for you. Also, a little bit below it, we have Raiden, which I use Raiden for my Electros because its animality turns Raiden into an electric eel, which, you know, kind of makes sense. And in Mortal Kombat 1, they brought back animalities, and Raiden kept the electric eel, and I like that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge Avocado just because I've seen it so many damn times, and like, I didn't plan on it, I thought about it, but I was like, fuck it, and then it just keeps coming back and coming back, and I've seen other variations like Avo Frogo, so it's like, we get it, Avocado, it's there. To me, it's fine, food-based nicknames are fine, but it wasn't special enough that I felt the need to highlight it, but since you guys are so relentless into beating it into my face, yes, I can see you. Okay, we've reached the bottom of Google. We've seen a lot of things like this where it's like Smogon or whatever. This firstly didn't have anything. I'm not going to click on that. I don't care. The TikTok, I was just morbidly curious, and it was clearly a mistake. Yeah, this wasn't anything. We just looked at that. This is the same fucking link. This was cancer, and a reminder to never look at TikTok shit. And everything else we looked at. Did we find some names? Yes. Did we find some different stuff? Yes. Did we find anything that I felt was so great that it was worth writing down? No. But to say that it was a waste and we found nothing would be a lie. We did find stuff, just nothing that got me emotionally invested and made me feel like, oh, I have a great nickname for my Bellibolt now. We will take a look at the comment suggestions. Jellybean, Jellybelly. Those ones I feel like work. I'm actually kind of surprised. Like, the things I was expecting to see, I didn't see. And the things that I saw were a lot of just generic frog nicknames, which that's fine, but I don't know, it's just kind of strange. Bellibob the Bellibolt. There's a pun in there, but I mean, nothing too special. The one that my brain first thought of and I felt like was insanely obvious and I expected to see was Teletubby. That was the first thing I thought when I saw that thing and when that thing was revealed. Is it a television? No. Does it have like a similar kind of style? I mean, yeah, a little bit. But that was the first thing that came to my mind, and that felt obvious as hell, and the fact that not a single other human had that thought is honestly kind of surprising. So this is one of those moments where you have an idea, you think, oh, that's so obvious, everyone's going to do it, and then you're surprised that nobody else has done it. So that's the only thing I have. Any other suggestions and idea you have, feel free to put in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to ones you think are good. Let us know what you'd use and recommend. And I'm not sure what it is, but there was a lot of people leaning into Portuguese and Spanish this episode. I saw one that was like frog and something else, but it was in Spanish.